अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. In the discourse Reincarnation and Karma, Baba revealed so many spiritual truths, so many hidden facts which clarify most of our doubts. General public do not have access to this subject, so they are often perplexed with so many questions. Is there a life after this life? Is there a rebirth? If at all there is a rebirth, do we remember this birth in the next birth? All these questions are open. Many people are perplexed with these questions without having deeper understanding about life. So in this discourse, Baba is revealing all these spiritual truths so that we don't have to pull our hair thinking about these questions. We will get the answers by the time we finish this discourse. That fortunate we are. So these details Baba gave in a sequential order in 7 parts. In the first part, Baba talked about the significance of death. Generally, death is seen as a sorrowful thing. But Baba has totally changed the picture. Completely he changed the picture and he said death is essential and death is as auspicious as birth. Not only that, in the journey of 84 lakhs of human life cycles, every time we die, we died so many times already, and we are going to die so many times in the future lives also. So death is not a new subject for us. So every time we die, we are going one step closer to our godhood. At the end of 84 lakhs of human life cycles, we ourselves will realize that I am not a simple common man. I am in fact truly, I am God. Aham Brahma Asmi. That is the realization we get at the end of the all life cycles. But in these life cycles, after the death, what happens before we get the next birth? These details Baba is giving in these chapters. In the second chapter, Baba clearly explained about what is heaven, what is hell. There also the general understanding of heaven and hell are, heaven is filled with a lot of pleasures. Ladies will be dancing there and you will be served amrutam. It is all fun kind of thing. And it is above the clouds. It is in the clouds or above the clouds. And it is underneath the layers of the earth, where people will be toasted, roasted, barbecued. So these are the general perceptions. Baba has completely changed that one. Baba simply said heaven and hell are only states of mind. When your mind experiences intense happiness, that is heaven after the death. Here also we get happiness and sad. Here also we get intense happiness and intense suffering, right? But this is not heaven and hell. Some people say, oh, whenever you are happy, that is heaven. Whenever you are sorrow, that is hell. Yeah, heaven and hell are also here. No. Heaven and hell only after leaving the body. These are pleasures and pains of the common life. Whereas heaven and hell are accessible only after the death. And what happens inside there, how our reactions are responsible for heaven and hell, all these details Baba gave, and we spent adequate time, ample time on that chapter, going into the every intricate detail of heaven and hell. And after experiencing the heaven or hell, our next phase is to get the next new life as a newborn baby, right? But before that, Baba is helping us with additional details as to, first of all, is there a rebirth? If it is a rebirth, do we remember who we are in this life? And we already know that since we don't remember what happened in our previous life, definitely we are not going to remember this life in our next life when we take the next birth as a new baby, correct? That is obvious to us. But there are some people who claim that, especially children of 10 years or so, they claim that my parents are, they are born in Madhya Pradesh and then say my parents are in Bihar. And they give the names street names, village names, and news people will take the child over there, and then those are all facts. And how this 10 years old kid who never went to Bihar came to know about all these facts? So this kind of news we see in the papers, newspapers, and also in the TV, correct? So if it is not accessible to us, why it is accessible to that child? What is going on? So all this kind of memory related information Baba provided in this third chapter. Do we remember or not? If we remember, why we remember? If we don't remember, why don't we remember? What is the advantages, pros and cons of this memory of the past lives? All these details are in the third chapter. Once Baba clarifies the memory related issues, then Baba takes us into the reincarnation that starts in the fourth chapter. We get to the next life. And what kind of next life we will get? What factors influence the nature of the next life? Will we be born as a man or a woman, rich or poor? All these kind of details come in the fourth chapter. So this is where we are. Are we good so far? Very good. Let's get into the memory aspects. So before we getting into the details given by Baba, I want to present one concept or a thought process. In the discourses so far we have discussed, Baba revealed a lot of life secrets to enhance the quality of our thinking, to enhance the quality of our life, how we can live better, how we can live more happily in this life amidst of all this chaos, and how we can live peacefully amidst all this chaos. So through each discourse, Baba gave wonderful life secrets so that we can continuously tune our life and live finer life. And most of the aspects Baba gave through these discourses are verifiable. For example, when Baba talked about desires, it is the general understanding for the general public that the moment you think of God, you desire for something. You desire for promotion, or you desire from some money or profits in the business, or you ask God for children, you ask God for something, ask, desire. This is the general public, we all know that, right? People going to temples, masjid and mosque, they always expect something from the God. They so ardently ask God, God, I don't have children, give me the children. Or, God, I have children, but they are nothing but trouble, give them good sense, right? So all this kind of asking, desiring is the culture we are brought up. However, Baba has totally changed that perception, saying that desires, although they give temporary happiness, they are always troublesome. And if we take a very easy example of mirchi bhaji, if we eat one piece in a lunch along with the meal, no issues, we can enjoy it. But just because it is tasty, just because it is so very attractive on the tongue, if we go on eating half a dozen, we know immediately stomach is going to get upset by the next morning. We know that, right? So whatever Baba is saying, we can verify that in our experience. We can verify this in this current life within days, within hours. Is it not? So likewise, Baba also said people who have more desires are more selfish. That we can verify. When we live with people who are in the ignorance of always getting something from the outside, not living a contented life, they always ask for something. I want this, I want that. And they continuously harass themselves and they harass the people living with them as well. That we can verify. Likewise, you take any discourse. Ego. People who have more desires behave more egoistically. People who don't have any desires, they don't have the ego. Simple equations Baba said, and they are easily verifiable by our experience. Correct? So, although Baba discourses are in the domain of spirituality, they are like science, verifiable, repeatable. Science is nothing but a verifiable and a repeatable aspect. of the life. That is science. So since these can be verified, this is also science, spiritual science, right? However, what is the speciality of this discourse is, whatever the information Baba is giving through this 7 parts discourse is not verifiable in our daily life. Heaven and hell. Baba says there are no Rambha, Uroshi, Tilottama, Menaka in heaven. It is not a place. It is only your state of mind after the death. Can we verify that? To verify that, we have to die. Once we die, we don't remember this. We cannot verify it. So, the topics Baba revealing through this discourse, 7 parts, are meant to be believed in. Simple. Because we believe him as the highest of the high, as the avatar, we just have to believe in these matters. Although we cannot verify it. We cannot verify everything. We cannot verify everything in the life. There are certain aspects of the life we have to rely on the faith and belief. We cannot always live based on the facts, verifiable facts only. Our life is of facts and faith as well. When you are getting into a car to go to some place, you have full faith in your car condition that when you press the brake, it is going to stop or slow down. And when you press the accelerator, it is going to go with a higher speed. Correct? But is it always true? How many accidents are not happening with the brake failure? And even the person who died because of the brake failure also had faith in the car before making the accident. He believed that my car is safe, I can use it. But unfortunately, brake failed and he lost his life or leg or hand. And we have a good example here. He probably walked out. Poor Tarun, he also believed that his two-wheeler is very safe, right? Okay, so faith is important. We cannot live without faith. And at the same time, we cannot totally rely on the facts only. Relying on the facts is rationality. You look for the reasons, you look for the evidence, you look for the proof. That is rational thinking, which is good. We have to have rationality. Baba encouraged rationality. Rationality is a gateway into the spirituality, Baba said. Right? So, rationality is good, but at the same time, you cannot live your life with 100% rationality. Faith is also important. For example, you are sitting in these chairs. God knows whether you are going to fall within few minutes from your chair. God knows if there is a hidden crack that you did not notice. Did you verify? Before sitting in the chair, did you verify? Do you have proof that it's not going to break? Anything can happen, right? So, you have complete faith in the chair you are sitting today, this moment. It's only based on faith you are sitting in the chair. If you only have to be rational, every time before you sit in a chair, you have to take the chair, lift it, look it in all directions, bang it from 4 angles. Okay, this is strong. Yeah, I can sit. People think this guy is crazy, right? So 100% rationality makes you look like you are a crazy guy. At the same time, 100% faith is also not good. If the faith is 100%, that is blind faith. You're not verifying anything. You don't have any basis. That's a blind faith. That is also not good. So there is a healthy balance between this faith and facts. That's what Baba encourages. At times Baba says you have to be rational. And at times Baba says, I am the highest of the high. With my divine authority, I am telling that if you take my name on your last breath, you will come to my state. You will become God. How can we verify that? Non-verifiable, right? It's a faith matter. So Baba literature is a blend of faiths and facts, verifiable facts as well as the faith. Especially this discourse is a faith subject. Let's keep that in mind and then go into the details. So this third part starts with a question of, is there a rebirth? There are some people who believe in the rebirth, and there are some who don't believe in the rebirth. Especially people who don't believe in the rebirth. They ask for proof. Okay, you show me the proof, I am going to believe it. Otherwise, there is no rebirth. This is only one life. God gives one life and you just make good use of it. That's it. So those only believe in only one life. God gives one life, enjoy it. After that, God only knows what happens. I don't know, but God only knows. But I don't believe that there is a rebirth. Fine. That is one belief. We are not questioning the belief. Any sort of belief is not a proof. Any sort of belief is not a science. We are believing that He is the highest of the high. There is no proof. Correct? There is no proof. It is only our belief. Our conscience accepts that He is the highest of the high. If somebody else comes and says that I am the new highest of the high, our conscience won't take it. Our chemistry won't accept that. So we have faith in a particular shape, in a particular human form. And some others may believe in some other forms, which is okay. That is also belief, this is also belief. It's not a proof. The only proof whether He is really highest of the high, we get to know when we reach His state, Aham Brahmasmi. When we reach that state, then only we can verify, yeah, all along we have been hearing that He is the highest of the high in my previous lives. Now it is true, He is no doubt, He is the highest of the high, and not only that, I am that highest of the high. And He and me are not two, but one. This realization will come later in the future. Until that proof comes, everything what we are keeping is only faith in our heart. Okay, so now coming back to rebirth faith. There is no rebirth. That is the faith we are at. Good. Now, one example is, we all go to Kalki movie, a sponsored movie. All seats are same price. We have hired a theatre and we are playing the Kalki movie for all of us. And per head, the theatre said, okay, if you, whatever people you bring, per head you have to pay me this much for this special show. And we paid same amount for all tickets. And we are enjoying the movie. After 15 minutes, there is an announcement from the theatre saying that from the rows 15, 16, 17, kindly vacate. Now you have enjoyed the 15 minutes of the show. Kindly vacate those three, and we have some special guests came. They are going to occupy those seats. How would you feel? You got this ticket free, sponsored by somebody else. Let's say Kashi sponsored all the tickets. You got it free, you didn't pay from your pocket. How would you feel? When Kashi said, okay, I'm going to give you free ticket, let's all go for Kalki movie, you're happy. When the theatre says, evacuate these 3 rows, we have some special guests coming, would you feel equally happy? No. What kind of questions would come onto your mind? Why me? Why these 3 rows? While others are all enjoying the entire movie, why should we enjoy only 15 minutes of the movie? How is it fair? You ask them to come and sit on the floor. Why you want to vacate us? All these questions, justice, all kind of revolutionary thoughts will come. Where is the fairness? It is unfair. They are enjoying and you are asking us to get out. Questions of fairness, questions of justice, everything will come into the mind. Correct? Similarly, now coming back to this faith of no rebirth. If one says that there is no rebirth, those people face certain kind of questions. Like, though they believe in their heart that there is no rebirth, this is only one birth, the rebirth concept is a trash, it cannot be proved, all this fine, perfectly fine. At the same time, they are also challenged with some of the questions. Hey, when I see in this life, how come there are disparities in the life? Some people are rich from the birth till the death, and they are living a so comfortable life, and other people are facing a lot of hardship throughout their life. Some are educated, some are not, some are beautiful, some are not. How can I explain this? If we put these questions to them, they cannot explain. They don't have answers. They only have a belief, not supported by answers for these questions. Is it not? They cannot explain the disparities of the life if it is only one life given by God. That is one aspect. Another aspect is the problem of child prodigies. My God. After getting 50 years, 70 years, also, I am not getting the pulse of the classical music. I know how to say sa, but when it goes to the re, God knows whether it is Chatushruti Rishabham or Shatshruti Rishabham. My teacher always says, no, you are playing the wrong note. Correct? So, it is so complicated, so difficult to get the sur of the music, even at the age of 50, 60, 70 for us. Whereas, so small kids coming onto the stages like Indian Idol, they sing beautifully, matching with the original singers. May it be Lata Mangeshkar, may it be Mohammad Rafi, Kishore Kumar. They are just copying and then as it sounds like it's a replay, and their height is only this much. Their age is only 7 years or 8 years. How is that possible? How can we explain that one? If it is only one life, is it not unfair? Whereas I am struggling to get the sur of the music. This guy, how come this guy is coming on the Indian Idol show and grabbing all the lakhs and crores of prizes? We cannot explain. So, these kind of questions perplex the life, and we end with no questions but pulling our hair all the time. Yes, we are holding on to one belief saying that there is no rebirth. At the same time, we are living with our hair being pulled by either our others or we ourselves will pull. Yeah, I cannot explain these questions. What is going on? It is a perplexed life, not a peaceful life. People who have belief in God and believe in the materials said by God, not just a saint or somebody who have not got the God realization yet, but the God himself, the highest of the high, the Deva Deva, the Lord of Lords. When he says, when we believe in it, we at least have the explanations. Although we cannot verify those explanations, although we cannot prove it for ourselves or others, we at least have the belief that yes, life is a sequence of several births and deaths. So, I am least bothered about your questions. I know why that happens. I know why the child is much better than a 70-year-old music student. I know it. If not in this life, in the next life I am going to be like him, the child prodigy. And he must have practiced music in his previous lives all along so many life cycles. That's why he has that grasp. Within few years, he was able to catch the grasp of that sur and laya. I will be there later. Why should I worry? He was also in my position at some time. Today, he is a child prodigy. Tomorrow, I will be the child prodigy in my later lives. So, what's the big deal? We are at peace. No perplexity, no pulling hair. Correct? That is the advantage of faith. If we don't have the faith, pulling the hair is the only solution. In addition to these unanswered questions, we also have another supply of information, which is called intuition. All the knowledge that we have, the certifications, the academic degrees, all of this is the knowledge we gained in this life after the birth. We started with LKG, correct? Right from the alphabets, elements, we learned we built the elements, and based on the elements we learned the advanced concepts, and we got all these degree certificates, recognitions, awards, all of this stuff. Fine. This is earned knowledge. In addition to this one, we were served with ready knowledge at the time of birth itself, much before the LKG, much before kindergarten. We were served with a package of knowledge at the time of birth itself. That knowledge is called intuition. Where did we get that one? We got that knowledge based on our experience in our previous life. Based on our do's and don'ts, we learned our lessons, especially intensified lessons, either in heaven or in hell. We talked about all those details, right? If you didn't pay attention to what you are doing here, you will have a better chance in heaven or hell. Hell will give you hits on the head and then say, take a note. Heaven will boost you, pat on back. Yeah, you did good job. Enjoy the happiness. It's a reward for you. Keep doing it. Heaven gives you the rewards. Hell gives you, what do you call this? Mottikai Telugu. Okay, you know that anyway. So this is how we learn our lessons in the intermediary process called heaven or hell, and that lessons learned is a knowledge, it is an essence of that life. That knowledge becomes available at birth in the next life, though you don't remember who you were in the previous life. Those details are not accessible. But the essence of that life is available at the time of birth. Point one. A little advanced understanding on the intuition. Is the intuition always the knowledge gained from the previous life or previous lives? Question. What is your answer? One or more? Or all? All is the correct answer, right? So, in every life, this intuition, which is a package of knowledge, which is the essence of our previous lives, keep on getting added. Based on that, the intuition of a person who is living his fifth human life, when compared to the intuition of a human being who is living his 50 lakhs life, which is more? 50 lakhs or 5 life cycles? Obviously 50 lakhs, because there is so much of accumulation. It is a cumulative knowledge. Intuition is a cumulative knowledge. Every life adds some knowledge. Some additional knowledge is, the package of intuition gradually is growing as you pass on to the lives. So, the intuition of a guy who lived for 50 life cycles already is definitely much better than a guy who lived so far only 5 human lives. Clear? This is the intuition, gives the answers to us sometimes unasked, especially when we are puzzled with this kind of questions, whether this is right or this is right. When we are perplexed with what to do, and we cannot decide in both the ways, should I do it, should I not do it? We cannot decide on both. At that moment, we have to take a cut and then take we don't have a choice but to take one side, either doing or not doing, to be or not to be, Shakespeare, right? You have to take a side. Then you go based on what is your inner voice is telling you. That inner voice is coming from your intuition. So when you are perplexed with these kind of questions, your inner voice guides you as to what to do. It is a guide, no doubt. However, this guidance is less available for the guy who lived only 5 human lives compared to the guy who lived 50 lakhs life cycles. Make sense? And Baba said this intuitory knowledge is not something you are gaining from outside or something. This knowledge is already hidden in you. Infinite knowledge is already hidden in you. Life after life, you are just uncovering it a little bit at a time. This is an uncovered knowledge that is already present in you, Baba says. Right? So, this intuition, when you take these two cases, they are reflections of the truth. The truth is uncovered through the intuition. Your lifestyle, the karmas you are doing, good karmas and bad karmas, are beating you on both the sides and then helping you to uncover this knowledge that is already hidden in you, latent in you. So, this uncovered knowledge is nothing but truth. However, in both the cases, this truth is not complete. Whether it is 5 life cycles or 50 lakhs life cycles, this truth is not complete. It is truth, but only portion of the truth. Complete truth is accessible only when we complete 84 lakhs of life cycles and reach the realization of I am God, Aham Brahmasmi. Then only you will have access to the full truth. Until then, yes, some truth is available to you, but it is not a complete truth. So, just because you are guided by your inner voice does not mean that you are in good hands. Sometimes your intuition can put you into trouble also. Clear? So, these are the deeper aspects of the intuition. So, while these questions and puzzles are unanswered about whether the child prodigies or the disparities in the life, while these are unanswered on one side, your intuitions tells the other way, saying that I don't think what I am believing is truly very supportive. Right? So, you are compensated. Your belief is ignorance and your intuition is the knowledge. You are compensated by your intuition to gain some peace in the life. Otherwise, you will become a madman. If you don't have the intuition, people, especially people who believe that there is no rebirth, they live a mad life. They become a mad because they only have questions, no answers, is it not? So, that is the problem. And fortunately, under the umbrella of God, under the umbrella of highest of the high, we have the access to this information where we have the answers available, we have the access to the deeper truths given by Baba. Aren't we fortunate?
Yes, sir.
Aren't we thankful to Baba?
Yes.
Why don't we put our hands together to Baba once? So, this intuition built over numerous lives guides you and gives you some peace, some meaning to the life. If the deeper understandings, deeper explanations to these perplexing questions are not available, as we just talked about it, the person is likely to live a mad life. Correct? Not only that, with no answers to these perplexing questions, the person is likely to develop a fallacious, cynical mentality. What does it mean? Fallacious, cynical mentality means having the negative attitude towards the life. Very strong negative attitude towards life. Thinking that, especially people who are facing the hardship and believe that there is no birth. People who are rich, having all the luxuries, they are least worried about these problems. Especially the guy who is living hardship all through his life and thinks that there is only one life, will develop very negative attitude towards the life, saying that, God doesn't have the justice. He gave all the pleasures to those people. I lived for 70 years so far, I am still facing hardship. It is unfair. God is unfair. Life is unfair. These kind of bitterness one person is likely to develop because of these unanswered questions. And certain kind of incidents particularly shake these people who don't believe in the rebirth, especially when they lose their loved ones. When a loved person, children or spouse, anybody, and a loved person is lost, definitely there is some material loss will be there, especially if an earning son is lost after retirement. Parents will have some trouble because they are relying on son's support. Now the support is gone. That is a materialistic loss. So they grieve about that loss. My son used to take well care of us, and now he is gone in front of us. We are supposed to die first, but our son died first. And they will have the grief about the material loss. That is one aspect of it. Another aspect of the question that even very deeper and shakes the person is, why my son, why not me? I was born before, and I am supposed to leave this body first. I had my son right in front of my eyes, and why he is lost? This agony, this unanswered question, the suffering out of this mental agony, Baba says, is much, much, much deeper than the grief due to material loss as a result of the death. This agony is much deeper. And where from this agony is coming from? Lack of knowledge, lack of access to the truth that we have today here. People who have access to these truths of the life are least bothered about the incidents happen in their life, regardless of whether those incidents are in our favor or not. If it is favor, enjoy, be happy. If it is not our favor, cope up with the situation and try to be happy in that situation also, because you firmly know that only through God's intervention anything will happen. God gave me a son, now God took the son back. So what's the big deal? I was happy when God gave me a son, and I'm equally happy because it's a God act. God only can take my son away, nobody else. So that kind of firm faith gives them the comfort, and they don't go through this kind of agony. They continue to be balanced. They may not be excited and happy when they lost their son. It is a grieving situation, there is no doubt. Some pain will be there. But at least they will recover themselves from the pain much sooner than general public who don't have access to these truths. Make sense? Yes. So that is the advantage of, first of all, having the faith and then having access to these kind of spiritual truths given by not just some saintly person, but highest of the high. Yes?
Recently, a few days back, to brother and sister, brother is 24 and sister is 23.
Please.
Because their mother died 4 months back.
Close.
Their mother died 4 months back, suicide.
Committed suicide.
Committed suicide.
That's even the worst example. I didn't even give it so far. Okay? What he's saying is, what he's sharing is, recently somebody lost their loved ones, and out of the intense grief, they committed the suicide, which is absolutely not necessary, not advisable. People who have access to the truth will never do those kind of extreme acts. We talked about suicides and all of that in the first chapter, significance of death. Correct? Now you see the advantage, spiritual advantage we are enjoying. It will be grief, yes. Painful, sorrow, yes. But definitely we will not go to extreme thinking. Whereas people who believe not in the rebirth tend to go to next belief, next false belief that, the life is unfair. If God is really there, life should be fair. Why should I go through all this hardship? Why should I lose my son? So this material loss is there, one aspect of losing son. Even more than that, why it happened to me? Why my son first? He is after all my child. He is a piece of love. I cherished his life all along. I grew him, made him a useful person for the society. And I am supposed to die first. Why my son is there? I lost my son first. If God is there, why God is doing like this? I didn't do any bad to anybody so far. At every given opportunity, I only helped others. But still, why this is happening to me? Why my son first? There is no answer for this question. So they are facing an extremely painful situation in this kind of situations. Not only that, they develop this kind of fallacious, cynical thinking and develop bitterness towards the life. Develop bitterness towards the life. So in this chapter, Baba says, life is not limited to the time spent between birth and death. It is beyond birth and beyond death. We already learned that in the first chapter itself, when we are understanding the significance of death. But why Baba is reinstating that one here is, Baba is giving a new metaphorical picture to this understanding of life, where he compares the life with a stream of river. Like how a stream of river that never dries keeps on flowing forever. Life is also keeps on going forever. It never stops, it never dries. It is a stream of life. In this unstopped stream of life, births and deaths are only incidents. And it's not just one birth and one death. We have already experienced crores of deaths. In the evolution, we talked about it. In the God Speaks, we have that understanding. We started our imaginary journey as a stone, some lives as stone, and then some lives as metal, plants, insects and worms, aquatics, birds, animals, human beings. So, death is not a new subject to us. We died so many times. In fact, truly, we never died. Our life was continuing carrying different physical forms. Life is continuing, only the physical forms are changing. Death is happening only to the physical form. Life is continuing. You continue the life with the physical body for some time, and then you leave that body. You continue the life without physical body for some more time until you get the next physical body. Then again, the same thing repeats. You live in that physical body for some time, and then again leave that body, what we call as death, and then continue the life. It doesn't stop for a single second. Life never stops for a single second. You continue to experience this universe, either through physical body or in the absence of physical body. Your experience, there is no break for that. There is no pause for that. And this life is alternative combinations of physical life and non-physical life. Physical life is between birth and death, and non-physical life is between death and birth. That is non-physical life. And these two are alternatives. These two different types of experiences are alternatives, but both are life. Having a physical body is life, and not having a physical body is also life. That is why Baba called this a stream of life. and births, multiple births and multiple deaths, there are only incidents happening in this. Because he compared the life with a stream of ever-flowing river, Baba called births and deaths are gateways in the stream of life. That is the metaphorical expression Baba gave it here, so that it reinforces in our minds much better. Are we good so far? Okay. I will take a quick pause for any pending questions.
Killing someone అది mandatoryగా మనం చంపాలా లేకపోతే is it mandatory that I need to kill somebody to clear that or మనకు తెలియదు అట్లా వచ్చి చంపడంలో మనకు బ్యాడ్ సంస్కారం ఉంది మనం చంపకూడదు అలా వదిలేస్తే చాలా or because we say that we have to experience everything good and bad so చంపడం అనేది అది చంపడం of course there are a lot of bad things which we do, for example backbiting, dishonesty, దుర్మార్గం, దొంగతనం చేయడం,
చాలా ఎజెండాస్ పెట్టి కూర్చున్నారు మీరు. ఓకే చెప్పండి.
So is these things mandatory, we need to complete them or లేదు తప్పు we should not do it to stop చేస్తే సంస్కారం క్లియర్ అయిపోతుందా? అది ఒక డౌట్ సార్.
ఓకే, ఈ మూడోది ఉందా? 1500 మూడో దానికి 1500. ఐ విల్ కమ్ బ్యాక్ టు యూ. నో క్యారీ యువర్ ఓన్ క్వశ్చన్, డోంట్ ట్రై టు ఇంటర్ప్రిట్ ఆల్ ది క్వశ్చన్స్ ఎవరైనా సరే. సో హిస్ క్వశ్చన్, ఆల్దో ఆన్ ది సర్ఫేస్ ఇట్ సౌండెడ్ ఫనీ, ఇట్స్ అన్ ఎక్సలెంట్ క్వశ్చన్. హిస్ క్వశ్చన్ ఈజ్, in this series of experiences we do so-called, Baba said so-called good and so-called bad. He didn't say bad. It is so-called bad, but it's not really bad. So, in this series of experiences, so we do so many things, and some are labeled as good, some are bad. And are we compelled to murder somebody in this process? Is it a mandatory that we also have to murder somebody to finish these 84 lakhs questions, 84 lakhs of life cycles? That was his question. Very good question, excellent question. The answer is, this entire universal, imaginary universal life is right from the stone stage where we started our imaginary journey, not real journey, imaginary journey, and across metals, trees, worms and insects, aquatics, birds, animals, and human beings. In this series of life, the entire life is a mixture of duality. It is a dual world. At an onset, it looks like a mixed bag of duality. Some are good, some are bad. Helping others is a good thing, and then killing others is a bad thing. Correct? Sometimes you may be doing bad by helping others. You give money to somebody, that guy will go and then get drunk and then kill somebody else under the intoxication. So there is no concrete definition for good and bad. It appears as if it is a mixed bag of good and bad. So at an onset, it is a dual world. However, Baba made it very clear that life is full of good only, there is no bad. How is that possible? What about these Supari murders? They are not bad. They are less good. See, this Supari guy, look at his honesty. He is taking money and the sponsor is saying that go and kill that person. He is so honest, he kills only that person, nobody else. Is it not? So he has principles. He has discipline. He respects his job. He is duty-minded. Did I hear something?
Commitment.
Huh? Commitment. His commitment is that he doesn't take the money and then run away. He will ensure that he will kill. Commitment is there. So he has his own discipline. That way he is good. What if the guy takes the Supari money and then vanishes? That guy is worse than this guy. Is it not? So Baba says the entire human life is all good, nothing bad. However, this good is in various sizes. Smallest good, smaller good, small good, bigger good, biggest good, like that. The good is spread across a continuum. Depending upon where we are in this continuum, in this graph, imagine a graph with a small bar and then a little bigger bar like that. That's called continuum. In this bar, imagine where you are. If you are in the middle, for example, you refer to the good in the lower side of you as bad. You are referring to that as bad, but it's not really bad. And you are referring to the remaining graph that you have not experienced yet, you are referring to that as good. So good and bad are only labels. There is no concrete definition for this. Baba says everything is good. When we are in the childhood, in the kindergarten, we used to poke our nose and then pick it up. Examine it. Lot of fun. Otherwise, why would we do that? If it is not fun, why would we do that, right? It was an enjoyable thing at that time. Do we do that the same thing now? We don't. Because our perception has changed. We crossed several years of life. And we consider that is a bad thing. We tell our children now, hey, don't poke your nose. We tell our children what we have done before. Correct? So this perception changes depending upon where you are. As you are advancing, and this is what Baba said in the first chapter. As you are entering into the spirituality, it becomes a burden. Because whatever everybody, the common public are doing, it looks like horrible to you. Why these people are living like this? Why these people are behind these TV serials and mobiles, Instagrams, Facebook and all that? They have better things to do. Why they are wasting their time? Truth is there. Unlimited joy is on this side. Why they are hanging on to these limited things and then getting into the trouble? How many people are dying making the reels? Right? People are dying making the reels. 1 minute reel. Entire life is gone. Dedicated for that. One reel. 1 minute reel. How stupid these people are. This kind of agony will develop once people advance. What we enjoyed before, what we are enjoying today, the Instagram, Facebook, all these things, so intoxicated into it, so engrossed into it, spending time until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the night, we enjoy it, we see oh my God, I cannot define my life without Instagram, without Facebook. This is the mindset right now. And after some time, we realize that, oh my God, how much time we wasted. What a waste. We will get that later. So likewise, good and bad are only our labels depending upon where we are. As we are moving on the graph, our labels will change. The so-called good thing becomes bad thing. The so-called good thing in the kindergarten becomes a bad thing. We have to wash it now. Change of perception changes the definition. So that way, in this dual world, it appears as if you are compelled to murder somebody, apparently, back to Kiran. But it is not entirely bad. It is a small good. Because the Supari guy also has lot of disciplines, lot of principles. The guy is taking the money and then committing to the job first of all, that is one good thing. And he is killing only the person he is entrusted with, not just anybody and then bringing some head. No. He is doing his duty sincerely. Correct. So that way there is some good in that killer also. Osama bin Laden, everybody sees him as an evil. There are followers for Osama bin Laden, do you know? In lakhs, not just 5 or 10. In lakhs. How much do they follow Osama bin Laden? They are ready to give their lives for him. They gave. Osama bin Laden asked the youngsters to go to US, get trained there flying the flights. You learn the flying license there, and then you get into the jumbo flights, and you take one flight into the Twin Towers, you take one flight into the White House, you take one flight into the Pentagon. He gave the directions. Will you do that? If I ask you, if I give you the same assignment, will anybody of you do it? He has followers. He has believers. Why? They saw good in him. We are seeing bad in him. They saw good in him. That's why they were even ready to give their lives. They flew these flights into the landmark buildings, and they gave their life in the flight. Suicide acts. So, Osama bin Laden is not 100% bad guy. He is good for some. There is some good in him also. So, he is a small good guy. In How to Love God, Baba says, only look the good aspect of the other person. Only look at the good aspect of the other person. If you are doing that, you are loving God. Does it ring a bell? So, only look at the good aspect of it. That is the small good in Osama bin Laden. We may have more good, and there are people much better than us also. So, this is a continuum of goodness only in various sizes. Small good, little more good, little more good, little more good. Ultimately, God is the ultimate good. Awesome question. Give him a big round of applause for a wonderful question. All right, all right. Any more questions?
You said that like in some of the lives we may take form as stones or metals or such. So does that...
So, I couldn't hear you well.
Like we take form as rocks or metals also in some lives.
Metals.
So like, does that mean non-living objects also have soul?
Yes. There is nothing devoid of soul. Her question is, you said previously we lived as metals and stones. Not that we will. We completed. That syllabus is over. Quarterly, half-yearly is over. We are waiting for the final exam. It's complete, done deal. We don't go back to the stone stage now anymore. We don't go back to any of those things that we have already completed. So her question is, when we live as stones and metals, those are non-living things. So do the stones and metals, being non-living things, have a soul in it? The answer is yes. There is nothing in this universe or beyond universe devoid of soul. You cannot pick and show me any object, say, okay, this particular one doesn't have the soul. Even a dead body has a soul. Dead body also has a soul. What is leaving the dead body is subtle body, mental body. Soul is all pervading. Soul is all pervading. There is not a square cubic millimeter of space left in this universe or outside this universe without the soul. Soul is all pervading. And this all pervaded soul is only one soul. It is not souls. It is only one soul that is permeated in all of us. Your physical body and my physical body are different, no doubt. But your mind and my mind is different, no doubt. You think one way, I think a different way. Fine. We have these differences. What is common between you and me is the soul. Your soul and my soul are 100% identical. They are not two souls. Same soul is in our bodies, and the same applies with anybody else also. Very good? So, when we do the prayer, there is a vast difference between reading the prayer and truly praying from your bottom of the heart. Since Shruti question brought the context, her question is the nature of the soul. Do we have a separate individual soul? These are so-called individual souls, but only one soul exists pervading the entire universe and also beyond the universe. And the total number of souls in universe and outside the universe, if anybody asks, the answer is one. There are no souls. Souls are only our imagination. Only plural exists only in our thinking, not in reality. In reality, there is only one soul, and that is God. That God is already there in us, not only in human beings, everywhere. Animals, trees, living, non-living. The entire universe is pervaded by Him. That way, when a Parvardigar prayer you say, you are omnipresent. There is no place where you are not present as a soul. You are omnipresent. So that single word itself has this in-depth meaning. So likewise, in Parvardigar prayer, we need to understand the meaning of every word in detail, enough meaning, and then meaningfully read it. Meaningfully understand the difference between our current state and His status. We made a statue and put it in our head level. No, He is not there. His height you cannot even imagine. That is where He is. That is His status. That is why, out of respect, we say, I pray you because you are such a high status. I pray your status. In future, I may get that status. That is the difference. But what about today? Today, vast difference is there. That's why I pray you. So we have to do that meaningfully. Reading prayer doesn't have any spiritual value. Prayer has to be prayed from the bottom of the heart, meaningfully. In order to sustain the meaning in the heart, we should not read the prayer in a fast pace, waiting for taking the prasadam. It should be in a steady pace, not too slow, not too fast. Okay? It should be steady so that we can digest the meaning as we utter our lips. It should be read that way. That's why sometimes we will assign one person to lead the prayer. And we have to follow their speed. When we say, "O Parvardigar," a crowd will be saying, "You are preserver and protector of all." Why hurry? Why that much speed? Right? The difference is going to be maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes eventually. I may take 6 minutes and you may take 5 minutes. Only 1 minute, right? So, go steady. Feel it in your heart when you pray Baba. Then only you get the spiritual value out of these wonderful prayers written by highest of the high, not anybody else. Another point regarding the prayers is we have to maintain some brief silence between the prayers. This is not my personal opinion, it is an instruction given by Baba. You finish the Parvardigar prayer, take silence, digest that feel of praying Him, His attributes. Take a few moments and then start the next prayer. That way, when a newcomer comes also, they can easily understand that these are 3 prayers they are reading. If we read one after the other without any commas, people will be wondered, "Oh my God, what a long prayer. This looks like a burden to me. Why don't I go back to my Swami Ayyappa or somebody else, Siddhi Sai Baba or somebody else?" They will fall back. We are confusing the newcomers. For that purpose also, we have to maintain the silence, not just because Baba said. So this is the understanding we need to keep when we do the prayers. And whenever there is a person assigned to lead the prayer, go with that leader. Go with that person's pace. Don't go faster than by that or even slower than by that. So that we all cohesively, synchronously offer our prayers from our hearts, not from our lips. That's about the prayers. Okay? So we'll take a pause in this chapter here and get into the quiz. Raghuji, please. There are a few more wonderful things in this chapter. We will cover those and maybe we will start the 4th chapter in the next session. Time permits. Avatar Meher Baba ki